At this point, you've seen several different types of angles and how they relate to each other. And so now we're going to look at angle theorems specifically for triangles. So let's talk about a couple of different types of angles that you could have. Interior angles are going to be angles that are inside. So these would all be interior angles. So these are inside angles. Exterior angles are going to be angles that are outside. So these are all exterior angles. So outside angles are exterior angles. And remote interior angles are going to be interior angles that are on the opposite side of an exterior angle. So if this is my exterior angle, these two would be my remote interior angles. So remote being that they're far away, interior being that they're inside. So these are far away inside angles from this exterior angle. So looking at the diagram here, we want to label our interior angles, our exterior angles, and then give two remote interior angles to an exterior angle. So remember, my interior angles are my angles that are inside the triangle. So that would be angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. My exterior angles are my angles that are outside the triangle. And so the only exterior angle I've got on this diagram is angle 4. And then blank and blank are my remote interior angles to my exterior angle. So my exterior angle is angle 4. And my two interior angles that are away from angle 4 would be angle 1 and angle 2. The triangle sum theorem states that for any triangle, like triangle ABC, that I can add up angle A and angle B and angle C, and they should all add up to give me 180 degrees. So basically, what the triangle sum theorem says is that all triangles have 180 degrees inside. So for examples 1 and 2, we want to find the measure of each angle. So when I look at this triangle, I can tell that for one, my triangle is always going to have 3 angles in it. So I have one angle that's 77 degrees. I've got one angle that's 54 degrees, but I don't know what this angle is. So I'm going to let this angle be y. So what I should be able to do is say 77 plus 54 plus y, and it should all equal 180. So if I add up 54 plus 77, that gives me 131. So I have 131 plus y equals 180. And I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 131 from both sides, and that'll tell me what my y angle should be equal to. So y is going to be equal to 180 minus 131, which gives you 49. So my missing angle should be 49 degrees. You try number 2. So on number 2, I'm going to let this angle that I don't know be angle F. And so I'm going to say all 3 angles added up together should equal 180. So if I do 26 plus 115, that gives me 141 plus F equals 180. I want to get F by itself, so I'm going to subtract 141 from both sides. And whenever I do that, I'm going to get that F is equal to 180 minus 141. And that would give you 39. So angle F would be equal to 39 degrees. Now on examples 3 and 4, I can see that I've got some stuff in my triangles, but this time I have variables in for my angles as well. So this doesn't change anything about the fact that all of my angles should add up to give me 180 degrees. So I'm going to say 7x plus 4x plus 5 plus 6x plus 5, and all three of those angles added together should give me 180. So at this point, I'm going to combine my like terms, which would be my 7x, my 4x, and my 6x. So 4 and 6 give me 10, plus 7 more gives me 17. So 17x plus 5 and 5 gives me 10 equals 180. So I'm trying to get x by itself. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. And when I do that, that gives me 17x equals 170. Divide both sides by 17, and I'm going to get that x is equal to 10. So to check my answer, I should be able to plug in 10 for my x in each of these angles, and when I add up all those angles, it should give me 180. So that would turn this angle into 70. That would turn this angle into 45. And that would turn this angle into 65. So if I add up 70 plus 45 plus 65, it gives me 180. So that means that my x must be correct. You try number 4. So on number 4, I'm going to add up my 3 angles. So 12x plus 2 plus 6x plus 2 plus 26x. And it's all going to be equal to 180. So I'm going to add together my like terms. So 12x, 6x, and 26x. So 26x plus 6x would give me 32x. And 32x plus 12x would give me 44x. Then my 2 and my 2 would add up to give me 4. So I'd have 44x plus 4 equals 180. I would subtract 4 from each side, and that would give me 44x equals 176. Dividing both sides by 44 would give me that x equals 4. So my x is equal to 4. And because I know that x is equal to 4, I should be able to plug in 4 back into my x's here, and I should be able to get my answer. So 6 times x is 24, plus 2 gives me 26 degrees for this angle. These are all degrees over here as well. Over here, I'd have 12 times 4, which is 48, plus 2, which is 50 degrees. And here, I would have 26 times 4. 26 times 4, when you work it out, gives you 104. So 104 plus 26 would give me 130, and 130 plus 50 would give me 180. The exterior angle theorem states that the measure of an exterior angle, and remember exterior angle just means an angle on the outside. So my exterior angle is going to be equal to the sum of its remote interior angles. So remember, remote interior angles are angles that are inside the triangle but not touching my exterior angle. So for example, my remote interior angles for my exterior angle 4 would be angle 1 and angle 2. So if I add up angle 1 and angle 2, it will give me angle 4. So for number 1, it says find the measure of each angle. So remember, the way that we name angles is we say that the letter in the center is the center of my angle. So I need to find the angle ACB. So I'm looking for this angle, and I also need to find the angle BCD. Now, I can find angle ACB by taking these two angles and adding them together, subtracting them from 180 because all three of my angles inside my triangle should add up to give me 180. I could also take my two remote interior angles, add them up, and it will equal this exterior angle. So because we're doing the exterior angle theorem on this page, let's try that first. So if I add up angle BAC, which is 74, and I add that to angle ABC, which is 58, it will give me my remote interior, or my exterior angle, which is angle BCD. So if I do 74 plus 58, I get that my remote, or my exterior angle, is 132. So this angle is 132 degrees. Now, if this angle is 132 degrees, the angle that's adjacent to it, or right beside it, is going to be supplementary. Remember that the word supplementary means that this angle and this angle are going to add up to give me 180 degrees. So to get angle ACB, I should be able to say 180 degrees because these two angles, angle ACB and angle BCD, create a straight line. So I should be able to say 180 degrees minus 132 degrees. So if I do 180 and I subtract out 132, that gives me 48. So that tells me that angle ACB is 48 degrees. On number 2, we want to find angle FHG, which is an interior angle, and angle GHJ, which is an exterior angle. Now notice that my exterior angle, I have the two remote interior angles, so the two interior angles that don't touch that exterior angle. So remember that through my exterior angle theorem, I can take those two remote interior angles and I can add them together, and it will equal that exterior angle. So I can say 51 plus 103, and that gives me 154. So that tells me that my exterior angle is 154 degrees. And so I need this adjacent angle, the angle that's right beside that exterior angle. And because they're right beside each other and they seem to form a straight line, that means that these two angles would be supplementary. So supplementary means that they add up to give you 180 degrees. So if I have the exterior angle, and I know that it's supplementary to the adjacent angle, the angle right beside it, I can take 180 degrees and subtract out my 154. So 180 minus 154, and that gives me 26. So that tells me that my adjacent angle, my angle FHG, is going to be 26 degrees. This also works if I have x's as part of my angles as well. So on this particular picture, we want to find the measure of angle R, which has an x in it. We want to find the measure of angle S, which has an x in it. And we want to find the measure of angle RQS. So using my exterior angle theorem, I can add up my two remote interior angles, and it should equal my exterior angle. So I should be able to take my two interior angles that do not touch that exterior angle, add them together, and they will equal. So in order for me to be able to figure out what this x is, I'm going to have to say 18x plus 15x plus 3 equals 135. So I'm going to say 18 plus 15, that's going to give me 33. So I'm going to have 33x plus 3 equals 135. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and I'm going to get 33x equals 132. Then I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 33, and that's going to give me that my x is equal to 132 divided by 33, which is 4. So my x is going to be equal to 4. Now notice that none of my answers or none of my questions that it's asking me ask me what x is equal to. But they do ask me for the measure of angle R, the measure of angle S. So I can take that 4 and plug it in where it should go. So this means angle R is going to be equal to 18 times 4. So I can do 18 times 4, and that gives me 72. So that means that the measure of angle R is 72 degrees. I can do something similar for angle S. So I would plug in 4 for that x and say 15 times 4 plus 3. So 15 times 4 is 60, plus 3 gives me 63. So angle S is 63 degrees. Now using my triangle sum, or the fact that this angle is supplementary to my exterior angle, I can figure out what this missing angle is here. So let's use the triangle sum theorem. So triangle sum theorem says that all three of my angles added together should give me 180 degrees. So I can say 72 plus 63 equals 135, and subtract 135 from 80, or 180, excuse me. So I could say 180 minus 135, that gives me 45. So that means that my missing angle here has to be 45 degrees. You try number 4. So using the exterior angle theorem, I can say 7x plus 4 plus 9x equals 100. So 7x plus 9x gives me 16x. 16x plus 4 gives me 100. Subtract 100 from each side, and that's going to give me 16x equals 96. 96 divided by 16 gives me 6. So that means that my x value is going to equal 6. So plugging back in, my k is going to be 9 times 6, which is 54. So k is going to be 54 degrees. And for j, I'd have 7 times 6 plus 4. 7 times 6 is 42. Plus 4 gives me 46. So angle J is going to be 46 degrees. And then I know that my exterior angle and my adjacent angle right beside it is going to have to give me 180 degrees. which means that this angle is going to have to be 80 degrees. I could have also gotten that by saying 46 plus 54 equals 100. 180, which is how many degrees are in a triangle, minus 100 gives me 80. So two ways to figure out that last angle.